Welcome to DarkDox Digest. I'm your host, Christian Coffins. Today we have a special guest from soundinvestigations.com. They're the ones exposing the Pornhub tapes and all the corruption going on with them, and we're going to dive into all of that. So I'll let you lead on this one.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. For the past, several months, probably the better part of a year now, we've been investigating Pornhub and its parent company, now called ALO, in an undercover capacity. So we've spoken to around a dozen ALO employees total undercover who have all essentially said the same thing, which is there's a serious lack of verification for age and consent on videos going up on the platform, both user uploaded videos as well as advertiser uploaded videos, which oftentimes are pornographic videos as well. So that's what we've been doing. We've been releasing our multi-part series, and we still have quite a few more releases yet to do.
Awesome. I want to start off playing the first video we shared at darkdox.com, and I saw you on band.video. So here's a little snippet.
How are you gonna tell me like who's in that video if the girl's not showing her face? Like that wouldn't hold in court. That would be the loophole that I always like. I look at that and I'm like, that's stupid, but everybody is just kind of rolling with it.
Why don't they just roll with it? Why don't they say something?
It costs money.
Who exploits the loophole?
Fucking everybody. Everyone. So you make a lot of money.
Do rapists use it or?
Of course. We've brought it up to the CPO, we brought it up to the CLO, and they're both telling us it's all good. And the CPO is especially telling us, like, fuck off, it's all good. Like, stop.
So they know the
like,
risk.
Shut up. No, it's all good. I'm not gonna get caught. It's fine.
But what if, like, the government was to find out about this loophole? What would they do?
I don't know. They're not gonna do shit. They'll do nothing. They're dumb. They don't know shit. They're not qualified to identify the
Meet Mike Farley. Farley is
their arrogance right out of the gates is infuriating. So that's you actually. Tell me a little bit about meeting these individuals. How did you get into all this?
Yeah, absolutely. That is me recording the undercover video. I sat across from, quite a few ALO employees. And in this case, this was a Pornhub employee who has been there for now about 11 years. He was actually the 7th employee to ever be hired at Pornhub. So he has a lot of credibility. He really knows what he's talking about. And he's just been there for a really long time. So it was really weird sitting across from these people a lot of times. But even though I got nerves, I get nervous still. They really are just normal people, really. I don't, even though I really disagree with what Mike Farley is involved in, what he's complicit in, what he's kept silent about, I really don't think he's an evil, malicious person. And yeah, he knows he's involved in something that in his words is unethical, but he's still doing it anyway.
Right. What got you into all this?
Well, I have an original work background as an actor in TV and film. So I kind of grew up thinking that I was going to pursue acting for the rest of my life. I was a teenager in the industry. I did see a lot of exploitation around me. Had some light instances where I was subject to it as well, but luckily not in so severe a manner as I saw other people being exploited. But I think that planted the seed that made me care about these issues. a lot, and I got into undercover journalism at least 4 years ago now, and finally earlier this year had the opportunity to investigate specifically the online pornography industry, big tech facilitated sexual exploitation, which is something I've really been wanting to focus on.
Awesome. I mean, it's definitely, this is a great, this is the first time you've gotten involved in any of this kind of like investigative journalism, activism work.
I got into investigative journalism about 4 years ago, but this is the first time I've taken a public position on what I've been involved in, and I really wanted the chance to own my work and to speak to what I had done, and this was the opportunity that I took. So it actually was inspired by a New York Times article called "The Children of Pornhub," published in 2020. I don't know if you've read it, but it really became really popular at the time it was published, and it details multiple victims' attempts to get their underage abuse videos taken down from Pornhub,
Right.
Through months and sometimes years of requesting and emailing or whatever. Their abuse videos just weren't taken down, or they're just re-uploaded and then those aren't being taken down. Right. So it details all those accounts, and kind of the main survivor they focus on in the article was 14 years old at the time her videos were circulated on many, many sites, but including Pornhub, got tons of views on there. And even though Pornhub is a free site, they make most of their money by ad placement. So that video, the more clicks it gets, the more money Pornhub makes on their ad sales. So they do profit off of this type of material.
Right. I mean, it's the old saying: if it's a free service, then you are the product, and so anybody that is watching Pornhub and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, it's great, it's free porn." It's like, same thing with Facebook and all these other social medias, including YouTube, which we're on right now. It's like, it's free, but it comes at a cost, and so we're starting to see that now with how they're using data, how they're corrupting people, and doing all of this. But so Mind Geek is the advertising apparatus or corporation, and in Pornhub is like a subsidiary of Mind Geek. Is that correct?
So Mind Geek is the parent company of Pornhub. The advertising subsidiary is called Traffic Junkie.
Oh.
Mind Geek is just the parent company of all of them, but they've actually several months ago, they've now rebranded, changed their name to ALO.
ALO, right.
Yeah, so it did used to be called Mind Geek up until recently.
Gotcha. I mean, there's a red flag too, when they start changing their name and rebranding. And
yeah, new ownership came in, I think in February, and by maybe July or August, they changed their name to ALO.
And so what other porn sites are part of all of this?
Well, under the Mind Geek ALO umbrella, you have Pornhub, you have RedTube, you have Brazzers, you have Sean Cody, Trans Angels, a lot of very, very highly visited porn sites. They essentially have a monopoly over what you would consider like a North American porn site. And they have different types of sites as well. So they do on the production end, they write porn, they shoot porn, they hire actors and actresses, and they do the publishing, they do the distribution on their sites. So they have pay sites like your Brazzers. You would pay to view the content. On tube sites, the content's free, and it's more of a YouTube model of user uploads, where essentially anyone can become a user and upload their own pornographic videos. But there's so much. They also own a VPN service called rnHub. They own, of course, their marketing platform, Traffic Junkie, where advertisers, you just go online, trafficjunkie.com, you make an online account, and you can upload materials that you want to advertise with. It could be photos, videos, whatever. And many times those ads are pornographic. Sex toy companies will advertise, modeling agencies, whatever it is, they'll become advertisers, and you can just do it all online.
Yeah, they make it so easy to put the stuff up there, but then getting it back down, that's a whole other ball game there.
Yeah, and there is really advanced technology available, fingerprint technology, where if you were to upload onto YouTube like a 30-second clip of like The Lion King, it would immediately be taken down. Like, no chance it stays up there. So that's fingerprint technology that's used on copyrighted materials. So more popular porn actors and actresses will have something called a DMCA. It's just a copyright agreement. And so on all their videos, they'll like fingerprint them so that if anyone tries to upload them to Pornhub, they're immediately taken down. So the hope is that with these abuse videos, victims can say, hey, this needs to be DMCA'd, fingerprint technology needs to be applied to this so that that video or variations of that video can no longer be updated. And I do think that technology has been applied to victims at this point, but the fact that it's still a struggle for some victims to have that technology applied to their abuse videos, it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, even if they were ethical and actually cared about these kinds of things, it seems like a, kind of uphill battle in terms of, like you said earlier, for every one you take down, they could be uploading the same one over and over. But like that fingerprint thing would hopefully help with that. But sure, there's ways around that, applying filters, zooming in, a lot of the things that they do on YouTube, for example. So it's pretty difficult. What do you hope to be the end game of this operation here?
I don't know. I mean, I want accountability. I want to see discovery happen into Pornhub's and their parent company's inner workings. I want to see if this is deliberate. And I want to see the extent of abuse material that they're aware of on their sites that they just refuse to put the correct processes in place because it would hurt profits. And we heard it time and time again in the undercover videos. Each subject goes, well, it makes a lot of money, so, or, oh, we're not going to do that because it would hurt profits. So I want to see the inner workings of that, and I want them held accountable for whatever crime or crimes they're guilty of. And whatever that looks like, it's not up to me, but the appropriate agency should take action.
Absolutely, and I think the way what I love about the approach you're taking, very similar to like Project Veritas and things like that, where you have a hidden camera and you're kind of honeypotting them into kind of spilling their guts. It helps that I couldn't do this work because I'm just like some 40-year-old guy. You're a
you could do
young
it.
lady.
Come on.
maybe if like a chick was running the thing, maybe but being able to get them to kind of spill their beans, become comfortable with you, and kind of like try to impress you, which is clearly the kind of the vibe I'm getting from these guys. And the one woman actually that was on there, the former ALO compliance officer
Yeah,
video.
Jenna.
Right. How did you get? Because that's kind of a different situation. She was like, she's a whistleblower, yeah.
No, actually, that was an undercover video. We reached out to Jenna, and she agreed to jump on a Zoom call with us under false pretenses. So it was undercover.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to differentiate Jenna from the other subjects because Jenna recognized the problems internally, lack of age verification and consent verification going into these pornographic ads. She says that she was told by a supervisor that to judge whether someone's underage in an ad, when you're on the fence, are they wearing makeup? Do they have piercings? Do they have tattoos? If so, then they're probably over 18.
Yeah.
So that she was disturbed by that. And she would
Because
also
as we all know, I mean, anybody that I know so many mostly women, but some guys under 18, that they have they have full sleeves and it's like
yeah, I just think it's really irresponsible
yeah.
of a huge company to for that to be one of their criteria. That's dumb. But she would also get calls from people, she said, saying, hey, this is me in an ad. I didn't consent to this. Please take this down. And so she became so bothered by this, and nothing was changing despite her efforts to bring it up the ladder and escalate the issue, that she walked away. And I think she did the right thing. So I think she should be commended.
Absolutely. We'll play that little clip and then we'll
Yeah.
continue here.
The problem with it is that you can't verify. We can't specify exactly who the model is. The user using the model themselves in an advertisement cannot verify either. So if you have someone who just signs up, as long as their verification checks out, we know that that's an advertiser, but we don't know who the model is. And that's the biggest problem. You can have a scummy person who literally has underage OnlyFans girls, and he's just pushing out these ads, and no one would know any different. It has happened where people post things and then they'll be scrolling Pornhub, and then we've had people come in and be like, yeah, take that ad down, that's me. It's so hard because if you're not a Pornhub user, how would you know? People won't even see their own face if it's up there. You delete it, it's re-uploaded 20 million times faster than you can actually review it, delete it, go through it. They really denied. Any concern that you get is always going to be lip service. They just said, oh, well, things happen.
Mind Geek, now rebranding as ALO, is the porn giant that is famous for its biggest website, Pornhub. Mind Geek also runs many other big-name porn sites and studios, as well as its own ad network called Traffic Junkie, and its own payment platform called ProBiller. To buy subscriptions to some of Mind Geek's sites, users go through Mind Geek's ProBiller service. To buy advertising space and run ads on Mind Geek sites like Pornhub, advertisers go through Mind Geek's Traffic Junkie service. Today, hear from Jenna.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I mean, they're really organized. They got a lot of tentacles going into a lot of things here. So I mean, this is definitely a big Goliath that you're going up against, and I think it's very commendable and
Thank
perhaps a
you.
little dangerous. So we've at DarkDox, I've been doing stuff since 2006, and very low budget, and I think we're kind of like simpatico on that. I think it's definitely inspirational to like younger people that are trying to get into all this. That you don't need a bunch of money. You can do a lot of this stuff with your smartphone. And it's very important again that you guys are getting this stuff on public property, because if you were to go into their offices, even if you're allowed, they have to consent to being recorded. However, a big misconception I think with a lot of younger people is that you have to have consent to record someone on public property, including law enforcement, and you don't. You're in the United States, I think all 50 states, you have the right to record somebody without their knowledge if you're on public property. There is no expectation of privacy there. Did you learn a lot of these kinds of things like in college, or like did you take some law courses or?
Well, we definitely made sure we were clear on the recording laws. So in the states, it's actually dependent on the state. So it really just depends what state you're in. But all these videos were recorded in Canada, and Canada as a whole is just one party. meaning only one party to the conversation has to consent to the recording. So we, yeah, we just did that all in public places, restaurants, things like that. And we had everything cleared by Canadian legal counsel. So
Nice. Awesome. Do you have any advice for young people trying to get involved with this, or any tips that you got?
yeah, I mean, definitely make sure everything you're doing is completely legal. Um, and make sure that you're safe. Make sure you have someone. I think it would probably take at least a 2-person team, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Just someone watching your back, making sure you're not in any like life-threatening situations when you're in the field. But really, just make wise decisions. Don't do anything reckless. Make sure you're operating within the law, and the other side won't have anything they could really get you on.
Absolutely. With soundinvestigations.com, are you planning on just focusing on this operation, or are you planning to, like Project Veritas, like expand into other areas?
I plan on staying within this general strain, sexual exploitation, especially tech facilitated online sexual exploitation. We're not against going into other things. It's just a matter of what happens. Like you said, we are a very low budget, bare bones company. It's literally just me and the founder. I'm the journalist. He's the founder. So depending on the resources we have available to us is probably what we're going to investigate next.
What would you be interested in if there were to be something you guys were to expand into? There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, there is a lot. You mean outside sexual exploitation?
Yeah.
Uh, Gosh, that's a really good question. I think just something super random that I personally like learning about is our food system here in the US, how there's
Yeah.
such a lack of quality compared to if you go to like Europe, and so many ingredients that are illegal overseas to be used in food are just like routinely in our food here. So that'd be something I'd like to explore more, but probably a lot further in the future, just because it's kind of left field compared to what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, with DarkDox, that's why, like, there's so many things between, like, really, I got into all this about, because of 9/11 and false flag operations, and those, the media lying about things, and that kind of, like, it's such a broad topic, because then you get into the child sex trafficking aspect of it, and how, like, the government's kind of involved with that, the drug trade, all of these things, now the wars and all that. It's kind of all tied together, and so I was like, I just need to, make dark docs where it's like every this is all dark stuff. This is all very destructive,
Yeah.
negative things, but it's kind of oddly, I mean, you say it's left field, but really, when you have like the crazy conspiracy board behind you with the red yarn and stuff, it really is all tied together. It's all a part of something larger. Do you personally think, from your research, like about the food, for example, do you think it's intentional, like targeting the United States and maybe other countries, or do you think this is like it's something that's overlooked?
That's a good question. I don't know, and that's why I want to investigate it. It seems recklessly negligent at best. I think that oftentimes the easiest thing to do is just the most harmful thing that you can do. I think that's what's happened with our food system here. We're so focused on mass production that quality just goes completely out the window.
Yeah, and it seems like that's the similar problem with what's going on with what you're doing now, where, like, it's profits over people, that they're caring more
Hmm.
about making money than the safety of the people that are creating the content for others to view.
Right. Like I can't say for a fact that the higher ups at Pornhub are going like, "Mwahaha, we're profiting off of child sexual exploitation right now." But at the very least, it looks like they just don't care enough to fix the issues because they're so worried about any type of investment into further compliance or the necessary compliance is going to hurt them financially. So, yeah, as far as intentions go, I don't know, but I would love to find out. And I think that's something you could get deeper into with a legal discovery.
Definitely, and that's why it's so important. This is the foot in the door. Something like, I mean, I always knew that online pornography and stuff like it's sketchy business. It's definitely nothing I want to have any part of. It's funny, even like posting this today, I had like calls from friends like, "What is this Pornhub tapes? What are you doing? Like, are you you're
Yeah.
involved in this pornography?" It's funny whenever you're trying to expose something despicable or whatever. The first thing people think of, it's like you're involved in these terrible things. It's like it's a weird disposition that I think a lot of like you would call normies that aren't like really critical thinkers that kind of look past things and have an investigative kind of personality. Like my band, for example, I have a rock band, and like our slogan is we're pedophile hunter rock and roll, and that phrase, people were like, "Whoa, you're pro pedophile?" It's like, do you not know how sentences work and how words like go together, and or
Yeah,
like,
it's just like a very triggering term for people.
yeah, it's like they can't even think straight because like they just heard the word they hear the word rape or something and like, "Oh, you're a rapist," or a pedo, or, "Oh, you're a pedo." It's like I wouldn't be bringing it up if I was. The people that are bringing it up are 9 times out of 10 are against it, pretty radically willing to put themselves out there to do these things. And then like
Totally.
1/10 are the ones like, "Nah, it's not so bad," like kind of the apologists for these kinds of things. Like, but me personally, from my investigations into all these terrible things, like I wouldn't be surprised at all if like these people at these corporations that you're investigating at the highest levels, like the people like that are making the most money off of this, the founders or whatever, you know, you look at Hollywood, you look at the music industry, and it's all a bunch of Satanists and pedophiles. It keeps coming out. Nickelodeon and Disney and all these things. It's just I don't know if you've like really looked into the whole pedophile industrial complex, but it's kind of what makes the world turn these days.
It's scary stuff. You might know more than I do. I've certainly looked into it quite a bit, but as far as I'm the type of person who needs like absolutely hard facts before I accuse someone of being a literal pedophile,
That's
because
good.
them's
Yeah,
fighting words, you know?
absolutely.
So it's something I look into. There's so many different avenues I want to investigate through different entities. I'd love to investigate further, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what I'm able to do in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I'd say definitely like if you want to kind of go down some of those rabbit holes, darkdox.com is a great resource because I'm like you, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're just kind of, calling these people this or that because you don't like them." It's like, no, we have the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, we
Oof.
have his cell phone. It's bad. I've seen so much of that dude's cock, like I
Oof.
want to clean my eyes out with bleach. And
Oh,
like
I'm
he's with
sorry. Yeah.
underage girls in these photos and
Oh.
videos. It's all, definitely, confirmed. It's confirmed in court now. When we went public with it, they were still calling it Russian disinformation and things
Mm,
like that. But like we had people that work in the government that are white hats take a look at this stuff and use all sorts of software to confirm. There's timestamps, there's digital signatures and hashes and things that like are a little above my pay grade, but like they explained it to me, and they showed me print screens of like their analysis. And I trust these people. They have no hat in the race. They're not Republicans or Democrats. It's most of the people involved in this kind of stuff are independents, don't trust either side of the left-right
Totally.
paradigm, and
Yeah.
just like we're just anti, new world order. We want our liberty, we want freedom, we want the kids to be safe. I don't think we're asking a lot. But yeah, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Any final words?
Well, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll be releasing at least 3 new videos
Nice.
with some new ALO employees on undercover camera. So stay tuned. I'm most active on Twitter, so I'm Arden_Young_ on Twitter if you want to follow along.
Awesome. I'll definitely do that. I'm hardly on there, honestly. I can't keep up with
I
these
get it. It's
socials,
so
and
much. Yeah.
anytime I try to, they kick me off. So it's like I'm really,
Yeah.
I've been depersoned off of
Oh,
Facebook
that
and all these
sucks. I'm
things, and
sorry.
this video is probably going to get me in trouble. Sacred Alice
It
has been
might.
on and off, and our DarkDox. That's why you're on my band channel, because
Okay.
the DarkDox one, there's like 8 of them, and they've all been kicked off for one thing or another. So,
I'm
but that's
sorry.
why we do this. Not to get kicked off, but because there's a reason why these tech giants are kicking us off for this kind of information and stuff. We are, super banned everywhere, so definitely, anyone watching this, check out darkdox.com. We have no advertisements. You can go to our shop. We got thumb drives, we got projectors,
Great.
we got media players and all kinds of cool stuff, stickers, and we got stickers at the Bohemian Grove, and they actually
Mhm.
keep it up. It's pretty hilarious. But all of that stuff, is just things we pump all of these interviews and documentaries into all of the products that we give out to people, because the internet's not going to be here forever either. Like, I honestly believe within our lifetime, they're going to be shutting all this stuff down, and it's going to go back to AOL key searches. There's going to be no more URLs, and so I mean, you guys, you have the website with the posts, but like, is there a donation button? Are you
Yeah,
working on
so if
t-shirts
you
and things?
just go to soundinvestigations.com/donate, that's where we have donations open. It's greatly appreciated if you do decide to support us. My partner in this, he founded Sound Investigations, and this Pornhub investigation, which was our first investigation ever, he completely self-funded it. And so this isn't something that's funded by some like entity or some rich famous person or anything like that. This is just a passion project we wanted to accomplish with our own resources before we started asking people for money.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you so much. If anyone does decide to support, we do really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, we're in the same boat. Like, I'm not some rich guy. We don't have a bunch of donors and stuff. I'm just a dude with some kids and
Awesome.
working, and
Yeah.
it's like even that $12 bill for our hosting and stuff, and then renewing the domain every year. It's like, all right, we need some support, so we really appreciate when people buy t-shirts or whatever. You can
Yeah.
also throw money at us, cash that up /DarkDocs, and all of that. But yeah, definitely, let's keep in touch, and when you drop the new stuff, we'll post it. And if you want to come back on, and if you have any questions about any of the stuff, I want you to keep us honest. So if you see something that like, that's been debunked, like, I'm not perfect, I'm not all knowing, so like, please, like, put us to the test. Look into our stuff and our claims and things like that.
Great.
We
I'd
should all
love
work
to. Thank
together
you.
to
Yeah.
expose the truth.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me, and I can't wait to look at your site more. It looks really great and organized and pretty.
Thanks.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, as pretty as these ugly things can be, right?
Right. Your store looks very nice.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, well, it's been great. Awesome. Thanks for coming on again, and yeah, definitely support these guys, everybody.
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right, this is Christian Coffin signing off. Beware. Take care.